We have three tables here and each having two columns. The first column of each of these tables contains numbers and the second column of each of these tables contains squares of these numbers. Now let's quickly mark the even numbers. So 2 is an even number, 4, 6, 8, 10, then 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28 and 30. So we have marked all the even numbers from these numbers. Now if you look at each of these perfect squares of these even numbers, so it's 4, it's an even number, it's 16, it's an even number, it's 36, it's also an even number, this is also an even number, even number, even number, even number, it's also an even number, this is also an even number, even number, even number, and this is also an even number. It means that the square numbers of any even number will always be even. This is 4, 16, 36, 64, 100, and 144, 196, so on and so forth. Right? And that makes sense. Because let's say that your number is something and it ends with 0 and times your number is something, it ends with 0. So when you multiply it, you will first multiply with 0. So obviously you're going to get 0 at the units place. Same thing if your number is something and the last digit is 2 times any number having last digit as 2, same number when multiplied because you are finding the square. So 2 times 2 means you are getting 4, an even digit, right? Again, if your number is something like ending with 4, and if you are trying to find out the square number of this one, so this 4 times 4 means what? Is 16. So 6 and 1 will get carry over, right? So you are getting 6 as the digit at the units place, so it's also an even number. Same thing with if your number ends with 6 and times same number ending with 6. So 6 times 6 is what? Is 36. So 3 gets carry over, but you have 6 at the units place, so it's also an even number. So you can check for 8 and 0, 2, 4, 6 and 8, same thing will go. Now let's now mark quickly all the odd numbers. Odd numbers, this is also odd number, odd number, odd number, odd number. So if you check all the odd numbers here, and if you look at their perfect squares, even number, even number, even, sorry, odd number, I'm sorry, it's odd, these are all odd numbers, odd numbers, odd numbers, and you'll get the similar result as what we have seen in the case of even numbers, that is, whenever you try to find out the square numbers of odd numbers, you are always going to get an odd number, right? So the square numbers of odd numbers will give you odd numbers only, right? So 29 times 29 is 841. It means same thing. If your number is, let's say, something and ends with 1, now times the same number with 1. So 1 times 1 is 1, and 1 is an odd digit. Same thing with 3 times something number, same thing 3. 3 times 3 is what? Gives you 9 at the units place. So this is also odd. So even times even, when you are talking about the same number, whether or not it's same number or not, but you'll always get same thing, that is an even number. And odd times odd number, you'll get odd number.